Yo, guys, what's going on, my lovers and friends? Today, what I have for you is a little devlog, I guess, if you will. It's more of a play test of this idea that I've been working on over the last like 5 days straight. My productivity is an absolute mess, man. Corona's done a number on my ability to focus on one thing at a time. But anyhow, I've been obsessing about this little project. Lately, I've been playing a lot of RTS games, mostly Empire at War, the Star Wars game. And that game is incredibly fun. And I've never played anything like it since, and it came out in like early 2000s or something like that. So I wanted to like see how far I could get with a prototype on making something like Empires of War RTS game. And so that's what this is. A lot of just about everything you see is placeholder assets, but to explain what's going on here, so this is a unit right here, and you can see their task on top of their head is currently going to somewhere. The two footsteps is going. The hand is gathering a resource, and then the package is dropping off a resource. And when we get to 25 water, I'll be able to buy another unit. Um, but that is going to take a minute. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and give me a few more water so I can hire a couple more units here, because I don't want to be sitting here for an hour trying to figure that out. And all this needs to be balanced and all that stuff. And hopefully I'll be able to ship something. Recently, I been into like design a lot, and so I've been like learning how to like better design games, and it's been because me personally as like a developer, I was completely, it was like it's all about the code, it's all about your functions, it's all about your methods, it's all about your variables. Like that is what's most important with making games. But recently I've learned that that's not true. Like what's really important is the design of your game. Like you can have the best code in the world, but no one's gonna really care if the design of your game is crap. So recently I've been doing like a bunch of talks. I got a master class, and I watched like Will Wright's design class and stuff like that, and I've been learning a lot. So uh, where I'm going with this is that I hope that I can figure out like a really simple design with cool mechanics, because that's my favorite part, and be able to ship a game that works as like a prototype, and then like if there's good enough like demand for that game, I can work on a number two. This is the same tactic that I did with Ultra Balders. Dude, I'm rambling. I am fucking rambling. I hope this is entertaining. Anyhow, we have how many units? 5 units, and they're all gathering water. Water is essential because when we get to 25 water, we can hire a new unit. And what is the goal here? I don't know exactly what's the goal of this playtest because there's no threat or anything like that. Uh, so let's. Okay, so the goal for this is going to be if we can create a like harmonious. I think I say that ecosystem with our units and the resources, because what tends to happen is that if you get too many units going in and out of this little stronghold, and this is called the treasury. The treasury is where they drop all the resources, and resources have to get to the treasury for it to count. But if there's too much traffic going in and out to the treasury, the units will get stuck, and it's not a good look. So our goal is to create like a harmonious, I don't know if I'm saying the word right, relationship between like the resources and the flow of income to the treasury. You'll see what I mean in a second. But yeah, since there's nothing going on here, I guess I'll talk about some of the plan features where I want to take this. Again, it's really important for me to emphasize that like I've matured as a developer, and I've learned that like you don't want to overcomplicate things. You want to keep it as simple as possible. So there's some of the features that I may list, may not make it in. It all depends on like how simple it keeps the game. But what I want to for sure add is, of course, enemies. I want to add some type of unit leveling up system where it's like it's kind of classless, but you get to define the class of the units just by leveling up certain attributes, giving them certain skills and stuff like that. Uh, the whole like approach to how I view the units is kind of like you know, maybe like a Star Wars. Like imagine if you could build a team where you have like Anakin Skywalker, King Jinn, Ben Kenobi, all these like iconic heroes in Star Wars. What if you could like control like an army where you build these units up from the ground up, or maybe even like Dragon Ball or Final Fantasy, what have you. But it's like you get to foster and manifest their skills from the start. That's kind of like the take that I want to hold on to. See, you can see the traffic's already starting to get pretty clogged up here, and we have a way that we can fix that, but it's going to require some more units. But it's not terrible right now. If there was like 20 trying to come in and out of this place, it would be really bad. And I really like that design. I didn't like it at first, but then I thought about it, and I do like it because some of an easy fix to getting rid of the traffic issue that eventually happens here is just to make them be able to walk through each other. Like this is a classic RTS thing that a lot of games do. It just allows you to walk through your partner units, and I tried that. I just didn't like it because, yeah, I don't know. It just I like I like the idea of having to figure out like a harmonious flow relationship between your resources and your income. And again, I'll demonstrate what that means here in a second. I just need to get one more unit so that we can get started on the rock resources over here, because we can build a bin. Excuse me. We can build a bin when we get, I believe it's 50 water, 25 tree, and then 25 rock. And of course, all this needs to be balanced. I think this is probably a bit too slow for my liking. Maybe. I may be only saying that because there's not a lot of content in the game at the moment. But this is what playtests are all about, right? However, at the same time, I don't want this going on for an hour, so I might cheat here in a second. Yeah, but the most important feature that I want to get in here, like the whole reason why I even started this prototype, is because I want there to be like planet to planet traversing. Like I want you to be able to load up a bunch of units, maybe they're like super strong level, and put them in a spaceship and ship them off to like the adjacent planet where you have another base located and it's being invaded. Like that concept is so fun to me, and Empires of War is like a really really cool game. And the idea of that is like a Star Wars scenario, or even as simple as like I actually also started watching Dragon Ball Z again, and the feeling of like waiting for Goku to get to Namek as Krillin and Gohan and all them are fighting like Frieza Force, like that feeling is fucking phenomenal. So like if I can recreate a feeling like that where you have like your strongest person on one planet but he needs to zip away to the other planet like immediately, like that feeling is gonna feel phenomenal. Like that is what I'm aiming for. So hopefully, if I continue with this project, we'll be able to recreate some vibes like that. All right. Yeah, so this is pretty slow, but this is good to know. I wasn't really sure the flow of this. We're at about 9 minutes so far. But I think that it might not be that, excuse me. The flow may not be that boring if I add more content in the game. Because right now, like the only goal that I have is just to build a bin. And a bin costs 50, 25, 25. So it's like I'm just waiting for these numbers to tick up, and that's pretty boring. But if I add more content so you can do more with the units, it will pretty much distract you from like other goals. I'll have to look into that. And again, I'm just rambling. Please forgive me. And I also just continue to talk so there's no dead air, so please forgive me even more. Alright, so we're about to be able to afford another unit. I think that is definitely necessary at this point. And these models are placeholder as well. I'm trying to. I don't know if I'll be able to keep a model that is this high poly. This is a pretty high poly model. I think it's like maybe a couple thousand vertices. I think I need like a model that's maybe a couple hundred vertices, just so that the draw calls aren't as high when I ship the final game. Okay, we can afford a unit. I'm gonna put him on rock because rock is slacking. He's gonna go over to rock. Good deal. All right, so we have 9 units at the moment. They're all busy at work. Next unit that we get, I'm gonna put on more water. I'm thinking about cheating. I might cheat. We're at what? 11 minutes. Thinking about cheating. I'll try and refrain myself from cheating. All right, so we got a cool flow of rock. The idea here is that we want the rock to try and catch up with the tree, so they both hit 25 at the same time. That'd be good. That'd be good. All right, good deal. What more can I talk about? Let's see. Yeah, I think I basically just went over everything that I planned for this, and I can't emphasize enough like how much I've learned, how much I've matured as a developer, how important it is to just keep it simple. Like something I used to always struggle with, but I didn't know I was struggling with it until recently when I took design classes, is that, you know, when you're a new hungry fresh developer, like you don't know how to control yourself. You don't know how to like simplify your ideas. You have like this idea in your head. Like every idea in your head is always much bigger, much more grandiose than like the actual reality of what you can build, especially by yourself. And so I can't stress enough how much I've learned to just like scale back on those ideas and keep it simple. Just ship something that works first, get feedback, and then try and build it from there. Which is the plan for this. I'm just repeating myself at this point. All right, so I guess let me just talk about some other stuff. So how this works, the mechanics of like this gathering system is this right here is the asset placeholder for water. And when I assign a unit to any resource, so this is water, this is tree, obviously, and this over here is stone. When I assign them to that, basically they get a random location around the resource, and then they go to that resource location, and then they start to gather. And this is a better solution than what I previously had. Yeah, they're not that very smart. As you can see, they just like run into each other. And the reason for that is because it's really expensive to like live update the mesh in real time. The pathfinding mesh. It's really expensive. If like every step they took, they were all updating the mesh. I want to avoid doing that because it allows me to put more units on screen without lag. So, but I do have a little system in place that helps them like be less dumb, helps the AI be less dumb. But it's not the perfect solution. But I mean, you give some, you take some. All right, so we're about to be able to afford another unit. I think I'm gonna put it on water. I mean, honestly, like water is probably the most important thing in this early playtest build version, just because it allows us to get more units. Cool. So it looks like rock and tree is gonna hit 25 soon. So I'm gonna let the water build up to 50 so we can get a bin and we can like better organize this traffic flow right here. Oh yeah, let me talk about the reason why I like the traffic flow, like to keep the traffic flow congestion. I don't know, not feature, but annoyance, I guess, is because it was one of my favorite features from the game City Skylines. I loved optimizing the traffic in City Skylines. I thought it was really fun. So when it came time to either like remove it completely from this game or keep it, I was like, you know what? I think I'll just add features that allow you to manage the traffic, because I think it'll give you, the player, like more sense of ownership if like you develop a really good traffic flow system. So yeah, you can see it's already starting to get backed up a lot, but it gets way worse. Like this can get completely clogged, and neither can go in or out without having to go around, which is like a double-edged sword, because I'm not entirely sure how players will react if I might be able to show. I'll show you a little later. We'll talk about it a little later. But for now, let's try and play fairly. All right, good deal. Dropping off all that water. We're at 25. We could buy another unit, but I think we're going to save up to get to 50. Because at this moment, if I get another unit, it's just going to add to the traffic going back and forth here. And I don't think that's what we need. So we're going to save it to 50, get a bin, place down a bin over here. So then they'll then drop off the resources at the bin. And then from there, I can assign a unit to the bin, and it'll just do single runs back and forth to the treasury. Looking good, looking good. Yeah, I'm really enjoying developing this. It's been quite addicting over the last 5 days. This is as far as I've been able to get. But I think it's important for me to also note that, like, another thing that I've learned as maturing as a developer is that I used to believe that I had to build everything with my own two hands. Like pathfinding, I have to build it myself. 3D models, I have to build it myself. What have you, I have to build it myself. But I no longer believe that. I think that like I've learned enough as a developer to feel competent enough to like take someone else's tool and get a head start on an idea. So the pathfinding you see is something I bought from the Unity Asset Store. I can't remember. I think it's like Pro Pathfinder or something like that. The shaders, something I bought from the Asset Store. The model you see, the asset character, is from Sketchfab. Yeah, and it allows me to do something like this within 5 days. So can't complain. All right, so we have enough to build a bin. So I'm going to press 1. Get a bin in here, and we'll place it, let's place it kind of far from there so they have to actually like trek. So I'll place it there, and what we need now is to assign a unit to this bin, because they're gonna put resources in the bin like that, and we need someone that's constantly pulling out as they're putting in, because there is a capacity for the bin. But you see what it does is it now directs the traffic to only be within these two. And then now we have a single unit that is responsible for taking the resources out of the bin and putting into treasury. And so this is like one of the solutions that I thought of to help give you ownership over your traffic versus just like, traffic's not an issue. I don't know. Tell me what you think about this. I mean, obviously, I'll demonstrate a little later that the AI could be smarter, but at the cost of making the AI smarter, it means that, you give something to get something, right? So at the cost of making AI smarter, you won't be able to have as many units on screen at one time. So, all right. So when we get, in fact, actually, I think I'm gonna assign 2 people to pull from this, and then the rest can put into it. So yeah, you see the confused emoji? That means that they're stuck and they're trying to figure out a solution to get to where they're trying to go. And I'm working on this. I'm trying to make it like smarter without like more computationally expensive. So they do a bunch of various things. Like they'll go to a random location that's away from where they're trying to go first to like give other people room to move. And they'll also try and figure out like let's say they're trying to go to this spot right here where the mouse is, and it's blocked for some reason. Then they will try and figure out, okay, I'll try this angle, and they'll just do a bunch of stuff, and eventually it solved itself. But it's not the best. Again, the alternative is to make it more computationally expensive, but then I don't know what the max units I can have on screen at the moment is. I think it's around 100 before it starts to get weird. I think I can optimize that to get maybe double that. But if I were to make the AI smarter, it might go down to 50. It might go down to 20, 25, which is not ideal. Like the inspiration is I want as many units on screen as possible for this. So, and again, I'll demonstrate the traffic issues a bit later. So we got a cool little workflow going on here. I'm going to get another unit and assign them to this bin. We want basically like this to never full, because once this bin fills up, they will go back to the treasury, and there's gonna be a lot of foot traffic inside the little stronghold, which we don't want at the moment. So this is a good relationship. I think it's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna hire one more unit and assign it to this bin, and I think it should be like perfect symbiotic relationship between the putters and the pullers. Yes. Yes. Okay. Cool. In the meantime, looks like our two rock employees are still doing their thing. They've caught up with the tree employee single. And another thing that I really, really enjoy is like the proximity of things has an effect, right? So because this is one unit, and these are two units, right? But it takes two to match one, and the reason for that is the proximity of the resources, right? So this tree is a lot closer than this rock is. So by the time that it takes one unit, I'm sorry, by the time that it takes two units to drop off the rock, one unit can drop off two trees, right? And I don't know if this is just too nerdy or not, but I love like the idea of that. Because I mean, an alternative, if like, you know, I didn't enjoy it, or players like are able to decipher that they don't enjoy it either, the of course solution is just like you go to the tree and then you stay there, and then once you like put it. So I have an inventory system. So instead of putting it into an inventory, it just goes directly to the treasury, and that completely um, gets rid of the distance problem. But I really like the. You have to really think about like the design of your base as you build it. And next, what I want to work on after I get off this devlog is unit leveling up. For example, these three pullers, these runners right here that are getting from this bin, I want to increase their inventory size, right? But at the moment, I don't have a way to do that. Or actually, I think I could from the editor. But yeah, I want to be able to have a way where you can level them up. So like when they level up, there's a bunch of different stats you get to pick from and improve. And I would improve these runners, specifically their inventory size. So instead of grabbing one at a time, which is what they're all default to, they can grab two or three at a time. So I can have less runners going in and out of this the stronghold, and just a bunch of grunts or whatever these are classified as, whatever you want to classify them as. And it just improves the efficiency. So that's something I think will be an exciting addition to this prototype. Oh, and this game's called Absolute Galaxy. I don't know if I said that. What are we at? We're at 23 minutes. Okay. I'm going to hard stop at 30 minutes. So that's a good time to stop. But in the meantime, I think that we got a cool little workflow going here. It's slowly increasing, it looks like, but it'll be fine. Like, we have enough time to just dilly-dally. But you can see that we kind of succeeded. There's a nice smooth workflow. It's not super clogged in here, so we got income coming in, guaranteed. Yeah, so now I'm going to demonstrate some of the traffic problems that you could eventually face. I'm just going to get a bunch of units here, and I'm going to assign them all to the water. So you're going to see first they're going to like have traffic issues surrounding this resource first of all, and then you're going to see this fill up, and there's going to be traffic issues in the treasury. So watch and behold, and we'll talk about it as it unfolds. More. I need more. In the meantime, I'll start the traffic issue over here for the trees as that fills up. And let's assign that tree. Okay, so we're going to start getting traffic issues from this wing, from the west wing, or east wing rather. And then eventually we'll get major traffic from the north wing as they fill up this box, the bin. And this is all placeholder But you like the bull and the treasury, you like that stock market influence, you like that, you like that. All right. And so why these units are going to going straight to the treasury instead of the bin is because obviously the distance. It's much closer than the other bin is, so they just go directly to the treasury. I'm gonna try and speed up this process. I think we need more units. What is it, 25 minutes? Go, 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 go. All right, look at all that traffic. So right now we have about 50 units and the game's running pretty good. Let me make sure it's running at its most optimal. Yes. It's running pretty good. I think that I just recently added in the model and the model is making it more sluggish than what it recently was. So I'm gonna have to look into the whole model situation. But yeah, I do have plans, ideas to optimize it even more to make it run even more smoother with more units on screen. I think what I'm trying to hit is like 200 units per planet. That would be a really good number to hit, I think. But it might be 100. Might have to settle with 100. Yeah, another thing I've been thinking about is I need to make sure that there's something that so there's a way that you add units, right, which is you get enough water and you can purchase units, but there's nothing that removes them at the moment. So I for sure need to figure out like some rating system or add danger in the process of so you see them all like trying to get to their destination but they getting stuck. And so the one of the simple solutions that I coded is just move out of the way, let them shuffle around. Eventually they'll get there and it'll solve itself. But this is like a really good example of why traffic is going to be so important to figuring out. It's gonna like a meta game. It's a game within a game, which which are some of my favorite mechanics, or like the meta mechanics. So yeah, you can see an example of that here. And it gets way worse when they're all trying to go into the treasury. But you see, eventually they figure it out. Eventually they find solutions. I'm going to make it even worse. Select these four and add on to it. So now we're at 51 units. It's kind of sluggish, but again, that's probably because the model I just added it before I hit record. All right, so this is really, really bad. You can see all these people that are stuck. Yeah. And I wish it was cheap to just calculate like a live nav mesh in real time with all these units, but it would be so choppy if I did that per frame. Even if I did it like every 60 frames, I think still it would still be pretty choppy. But I don't know. I think that like the ultimate decider of if I will keep this. Oh, here they go. They're all going to the treasury. This is where it starts to turn into a shit show. Okay, so now you're about to have a bunch of foot traffic at the treasury. And this is where it turns into an absolute shit show. Some people are going to get stuck. Like, they're all trying to hit this one spot, and the person's not moving, or they can't move. Or they want to move, but they can't move. Some will go to other locations to, like this guy will go to other locations. Though some of them will figure that out, and it helps mitigate. But still, yet this is what I'm trying to incentivize. Is good management, good traffic management. It's the game within the game. I spent this whole playtest talking about traffic management, but I think that's gonna do it. We're about to hit 30 minutes here, but you can see the idea of where we're going with every single unit here. They have their own individual stats, and you'll be able to level them up individually. I'm thinking about like leaning more with automation so that you can be more hands off if you want to. And the idea with that is that you can assign, like, you can create classes yourself and just assign like a level up path that a class should take. And then when you create a unit, you can basically just like click on one of those custom classes, and then they'll naturally just follow that progression as they get experience and stuff like that. But all that's to be determined. I'm trying to focus on keeping it simple before anything. But yeah, that's gonna do it. I hope you like this peek at Absolute Galaxy. It's been an absolute fun to develop it over the last 5 days or whatever it's been. I'm gonna go get some sleep now. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.